Running a bit late today. I think we're about 5 minutes overdue for P2P Live here on YouTube, Facebook and LinkedIn. My name is Mark Smith. I'm Group Managing Director of People to People here in Australia and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. And it is Friday afternoon. Should have been 12:30, but it's actually 12:35. And we're here to talk about everything that is jobs and employment. So we've got a packed broadcast for you today. Firstly, we've got 3 jobs that we need to fill today. We've got the numbers where we're going to have a little bit of a look at what's going on in the US and also the most recent NAB business confidence numbers here in Australia. We've also got an upcoming webinar on finding a job in Adelaide. So we'll be chatting to Ellis from our Adelaide office about how to tune into that and what you'll get from that as well. And of course, we've got the Twitter poll results from last week. So there's a lot to talk about. So let's first jump into the numbers. So it was a big week in the US this week, where the latest employment figures were released. And before we jump in and having a quick look at those, what we're looking at here is the NAB business confidence numbers that were actually just released this week as well. I know that People to People contribute to this particular survey, so it was really interesting to see the little tick up at the end in business confidence. It's in the labour market as such, we haven't seen any change in the demand at this stage for talent across the country. It's still very hard to find good quality talent. If there was any comment I'd say is that we are seeing seeing some movement in our temporary and contract business across the country. So business, if that little tick up at the end of business confidence there from NAB means anything for us in the labour market, we're seeing that people are moving or trying to secure temp labour at the moment. Let's have a look at some of these US numbers. Jacob, if you wanted to, if you're in New Zealand and you want to have a beer, you can go have a beer with Jacob at Mount Wellington. He refuses to tell me the name of the pub. Maybe he will one day. So here we're looking at here is the unemployment rate. This is the inflation rate in the US. And you can see that it has dipped slightly. Now, why did I want to show you this from an employment and jobs perspective? Because there was a lot of uncertainty created in the US market around the increasing in inflation. So at that sort of level, the slight decrease, it's a good sign. And you saw that come through in some of the stock market trading this week. But the jobs market in the US is just at levels not seen for a very long time. And basically the pandemic that we've seen, if you want to move to the next slide for me, Jacob, this here is the unemployment rate in the US. So you can see the spike for the pandemic, and now we're down to 3.5%. In Australia, we're running at 3.6%. So they're running at 3.5% in the US at the moment. And basically, all of the jobs that were lost during the pandemic in the US have now been brought back. So the number of people working in the US now is at the same level as prior to the pandemic. And that is extraordinary. Why? Because the last recession in the GFC, it took something like 7 years to gain those jobs back. In the US this time round, it's only taken just over 2 years. It's a pretty remarkable result, and it's demonstrated there at 3.5% in the unemployment rate. I think the next graph I've got, if you want to move to that one, is the actual number of people employed in the US. And you can see the fall and then the increase there. So we're back to pre-pandemic levels. It's an amazing result in the US. And with the dip in inflation, that would suggest that things, although they've had 2 negative quarters of economic growth, that would suggest that they're not in a recession and that maybe the worst is over. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Now that I put it out to the universe, it's probably a little bit different. Okay, that's it for the numbers. What we've got now is 3 jobs that we need to fill around Australia today. If you are looking for an opportunity right now and you think, I need to start work on Monday, you can, because it's Fill Job Friday. So the first job that we have is right here in Sydney, in Parramatta, for a business analyst. It's a systems business analyst reporting through to the Associate Director of Operations. You'll be documenting business processes and functional requirements, and you'll also be evaluating outcomes and looking at delivery methods as well. To be successful in the role, you've got to have great communication skills, and you have to have worked as a business analyst before. The rate is fantastic on this one. I know that. There is some flexibility. So you need to contact Liam Graffiti from our office here in Sydney, 02-8270-9772. You can get in touch, or you just apply online. You can see the link in the comments, and we can see all of your comments there. So if you've got any questions about any of these roles or anything else I'm talking about today, just pop those in on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Here's the next role. It is a records or archives manager, also in Sydney, $40 to $45 an hour. You need to contact Aidan Boast from our team here, 8270-9705. And you will be assisting with admin, filing, archiving, collection, retention, and storage of files. Now, it's not just an admin role. You've got to have proven experience in records and archiving, I should say. Can't get that word out for some reason. And also have excellent communication skills. You've got to get in touch with Aidan for that one. And the last one today, to start on Monday, is a rostering coordinator. It's from our Melbourne team. It's very exact, the rate today. $30.60 is the rate for this particular role. And you need to contact Will Hillgrove in our Melbourne office. And what you'll be responsible for here is assisting with the onboarding of staff, troubleshooting and answering inquiries, monitoring, scheduling and reporting on staffing requests from aged care facilities. So you must have had previous rostering, scheduling or admin experience to secure this role. But you can start on Monday if you get in touch with Will. So that's it. They're the 3 jobs that we have today. Business analyst, systems, Liam Graffiti here in Sydney, a records archives manager in Sydney, also Aidan Boast, and rostering coordinator in Melbourne with Will Hillgrove. Now, if you're probably thinking, but I'm on a bus, how can I apply for these particular roles? Well, the links that are in the comments are linked via vPly. That means you can apply just with a video, and then we can get in touch with you. So just hit the apply now button, and you record a couple of seconds so that we know who you are, and then we'll get in touch. So send your video in with vPly. Okay, so we've got a webinar coming up in Adelaide, and we're going to chat to Ellis from our Adelaide team to talk about that. But before we do that, we've got another opportunity. So do you want to roll that video, and then we'll go have a chat to Ellis.
We are proud to partner with Australia's leading family-owned mortgage broker aggregator. They are multiple award winners with the most innovative software on the market and are growing nationally at a rapid pace. They offer flexible working, competitive salaries, promotional pathways, and monthly bonuses and incentives. People-to-people support them in administration, customer service, and technical-based roles. So if you are passionate about working with a leader in financial services and have demonstrated experience in these areas, please reach out on the below details or apply for the role today.
Now, the very first thing that people are going to notice when you open your mouth, Ellis, is that you are not from Adelaide.
No.
But you're here to tell us about an opportunity, about getting a job in Adelaide. Do you want to tell us more about it?
Yeah, so People2People Adelaide is excited to introduce its latest installation and talent webinar series, Find a Job in Adelaide. So since March 2020, our teams have interviewed over 1,500 job seekers and met with 910 business leaders representing more than 600,000 employees to identify new workplace trends and job seeker expectations. The report revealed over 40% of workers are looking to change jobs and make career changes in 2022. With such a high percentage of people actually looking for work, it's now more important than ever to make yourself stand out to potential employers. This webinar is going to be hosted by my director, the South Australia director, Peter Seaman, and our experienced consultants, Jess, Sylvia, and me. This is a 1-hour webinar. It will cover job seekers' most common challenges and how to overcome these to find the job that you love. The following topics we will go through is the current state of the Adelaide job market, how to update your CV and cover letter, how to prepare for face-to-face versus virtual interviews, managing counteroffers, and we'll finish off with an interactive Q&A session where you can pose questions to all of us on the webinar. We'll definitely be able to answer. The webinar is held on Tuesday, the 30th of August at 12:30 ACT time. To register, you can see all the links in the comments.
Perfect, fantastic. Now, where is that accent from?
It's from the Manchester area in the UK, so northwest.
Now, and of course, you've recruited over in the UK and also in Adelaide. What do you reckon is the biggest? So, for somebody who's looking to make a move to Adelaide, what would be one of the things that they should expect, or the differences that they might find?
There's plenty of differences. The thing I've struggled with the most is the language barrier between Australians and Brits. The biggest one is definitely lollies and sweets. Just can't get over it. But no, there's definitely a lot of differences. It's just tough. You just got to find your feet and roll with the punches and get used to it.
I suppose if people have got some questions about that, then they should definitely register for the webinar. And if you've got any pre-questions, then you can always let us know, and we can try and get in touch. Actually, I can Absolutely. Just see Tumpal on LinkedIn actually has said, has P2P got any accounting-related opportunities for work and working holiday visa? Absolutely. Tumpal. It depends on where you are looking to secure a job, but we had offices throughout Australia, including obviously where Ellis is in Adelaide, but in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, particularly, we have a strong accounting and finance and particular temp roles right now. You would have seen in Field Job Friday, we've got an analyst role right here in Sydney right now. So if somebody wanted to get in touch, Ellis, to ask you a question beforehand, or maybe to log a question with you before the webinar, how would they do that?
Well, you can always get hold of me via email, which is ellis@peopletopeople.com.au. You can get hold of me on my direct dial as well, 088317 4807. I'm also on LinkedIn, so you can always connect with me and just get me on there as well.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on P2P Live. First time. Hopefully it won't be the last. And we'll see you again soon. Righto. So let's now talk about the Twitter poll that we had last week, and what an interesting result. And here it was. So, would you apply for a job that doesn't list the salary? Well, check this out. 18.5% yes said yes, it actually doesn't matter. So a full 20%. But 30% said no, they wouldn't. So as an employer, I know the advice that I give, particularly as a recruiter, and one of the advantages of using a recruiter is that you can blind advertise, that you don't have to put your brand on it, you avoid any comparative issues, and you can put a salary on the job ad without having any issues internally raised. The other thing I thought was interesting, that it depends on the job. Clearly, LinkedIn people are a little bit less conservative than Twitter. I don't know. Does that mean anything? Not too sure. Anyway, very interesting results. So what about this week? This week we have, following the hype of the Great Resignation, and there was a lot of hype, and we talked about it a lot here on P2P Live. Do you regret leaving your old job for your new one? Have you made that call? You resign? Do you regret making that decision? Yes or no? So log your answer on Twitter or LinkedIn, and we'll release those results next week. Okay, that's it, everybody. Thank you once again for joining us for P2P Live here on Friday afternoon. We'll do it all again next week. Have a great weekend. And go the